My whole life, I've been told that smoking is bad. Smoking will kill you. Smokers deserve to die.
I smoked for 40 years.
50 years.
I'll go to my grave smoking.
I pretty much thought that smoking was a thing of the past, part of history. I was wrong.
Billion people dying from smoking-related diseases.
70% of current smokers want to quit.
You try and you fail, you try and you fail.
I was shocked when I found out.
What's going on?
Seized almost 1,000.
Nobody cares.
It's irresponsible.
3 black SUVs.
Disruptive change.
Illegal action. Promise.
Don't let the bastards win.
I'm gonna quit.
Okay. Hello everyone. It is Rupsik, and we are pleased to talk about an issue drawing public attention and sparking controversies. So, before starting, let me introduce our group. So, there are 10 members contributing to the report, and me, Nguyễn Võ Minh Triết, with Dương Tuấn Khải and Nguyễn Thị Bảo Ngọc will present this. So, this is our topic: should smoking be banned, and do people have the right to choose, or is it as a reckless act? So, to make it easy to follow, we will channel into this report with 4 parts. First, introduction and methodology. Second, data analysis. Third, identifying weak arguments. And finally, consolidating arguments from opposition. So, I am responsible for the first part, and a little bit in the second part. So, we all know that the society is growing, which creates various requirements, both good and bad. In the negative demand, the social issues that influence everyday life as well as the healthy development of the people must be explicitly highlighted. So, moreover, information on use in general and tobacco in particular is regularly updated in the media since the hazard it creates are deemed to be serious. So, however, not everyone is concerned about the issue. Many individuals prefer to overlook the negative consequences of tobacco in the lungs and the health of others, and thus consider smoking to be a pleasurable pastime, or even use smoking to determine who is an adult. Although it is well known that lung cancer kills 9 out of 10 individuals today, but today's young population regards smoking as normal, and this influenced the mentality of a full generation. Later, the hundreds of preventative measures as well as lectures and ideological campaigns established by non-profits on social networking platforms have not been able to completely function in Vietnam. And the issue was both: should it be absolutely prohibited? Many people have pondered the question: is tobacco a prohibited substance? And the following report will give the information on the detrimental impact of tobacco, while also eliciting more opinions on the judgment of those around it by employing certain critical thinking principles, disputing arguments, and other techniques. So, also in this report, my group uses analytical research that the facts have been already confirmed for the research and a serious assessment of reference is executed. Based on the information from a survey which was created on Google Form, we analyzed and evaluate the topic: should smoking be banned, and do people have the right to choose, or is it as reckless as drugs? So we are using Google Form to make a survey of the current status of smoking since 25 December and 2020 2021. There are quantities of survey participants in both sexes from 15 to over 30 years old, based on data which were collected, and we divided it into two main spots. Okay, so with the main point, with first question: how to stop people from smoking? We highly recommend actively propagating and thoroughly understanding not to use cigarettes in school for education administrators and teachers. Everyone knows teenagers, especially in student ages, try smoking because they are curious and they imitate others about smoking. So teachers and families should keep children from smoking and also let them realize the harm of doing this. With a small amount of money, people get used to buying and using cigarettes, even children. So our solution is to get high taxes and turn tobacco products on combined with reducing the price selling tobacco products. So prohibited smoking in public places with large gatherings due to the fact that non-smoking people, if they are in a smoke-filled environment, they will also take the harmful effects of cigarettes just like smoking people. And with the second question, should smoking be completely banned by the government? To elucidate it, besides the harmful effects of a cigarette on our health, however, most of the richer countries of the world are making progress in reducing both smoking rates and overall consumption. Many different methods have been proposed to deepen this downward slope, including increased taxation, bans on advertising, promotion of cessation, and expansion of smoke-free space. There are residents and 15 US states enacted bans on the sale of cigarettes from 1890 to 27. It is the observation this, and such laws are still fully within the power of local communities and state governments. Apart from reducing human suffering, abolishing the sale of cigarettes would result in savings in the realm of healthcare costs, increased labor productivity, and lessened harm from fires, and as well as reduced consumption of scarce physical resources and smaller global carbon footprint. Yeah. So to continue, I continue the second part, the data analysis. Should smoking be banned? Firstly, the cigarette is the deadliest object in the history of human civilization. Cigarettes kill about 6 million people every year, a number that will grow before it shrinks. Smoking in the 20th century killed only 100 million people, whereas a billion could perish in our century unless we reverse course. So even if recent rate of consumption drops steadily to zero by 2100, we will still have about 300 million tobacco deaths this century. Secondly, smoking is a financial burden on public and private treasuries, and reasonably from the cost of treating illnesses. Cigarettes use also result in financial losses from diminished labor productivity, and in many parts of the world makes the poor even poorer. They call impoverished. Lastly, cigarettes are also told a significant cause of harm to the natural environment. Cigarette manufacturing consumes scarce resources in growing, curing, rolling, packaging, transport, advertising, and legal defense, but also causes harm from massive pesticide use and deforestation. Many Manhattans of savanna woodlands are lost every year to obtain the charcoal used for the flue curing. Oh, and cigarette manufacturing also reduce non-trivial greenhouse gas emission, principally from the fossil fuel used for curing and transport fires from careless disposal of birds, and increased medical costs from maladies caused by smoking. For example, China produced 40% of the world's cigarettes and used mainly coal to cure its tobacco leaf. Okay, turning to the argument issue. Smoking, a little bit. Smoking should be banned because it has several health effects. It harms almost every organ of the body and cause a corrosive effect on the body. Cigarette smoking causes 87% of lung cancer deaths, and it is also responsible for many older cancer and health problems. This is the end of my part, and to continue the following content, Dương Tuấn Cải will be in the next presenter.
Okay, so we are going to the third part, is that data analyzing. We are going to the topic. So, should smoking be banned? We are going to come into the agreement point. Firstly, the cigarette is the deadliest object in the history of human civilization. Cigarettes kill about 6 million people every year, a number that grew before its shrink. Smoking in the 20th century killed only 100 million people, whereas a billion could perish in our century unless we reverse courses. Even if recent rates of consumption rose steadily to zero by 2100, we will still have about 300 million tobacco deaths in this country, in this century. Secondly, smoking is the financial burden on public and private users, principally from the causes of treating illness. Cigarette use also resulted in financial losses from diminished labor productivity, and in many parts of the world make the poor even poorer. Lastly, cigarettes are also a significant cause of harm to the natural environment. Cigarettes manufacturing consumers scarce resources in growing, curing, rolling, packing, transporting, advertising, and legal defense, but also causes harm from the massive pesticides use and deforestation. Many Manhattans of the savanna woodlands are lost every year to obtain the charcoal used for fuel curing. Cigarette manufacturing also reduces non-trivial greenhouse gases emission, principally from the fossil fuels used for curing and transport. Fire from careless disposal of birds, and increased medical costs from maladies caused by smoking. China produces 40% of wood cigarettes, for example, and uses mainly coal to cure its tobacco leaf. So, analyzing that, we are going to first is that cigarettes kill about 6 million people every year. Second, smoking in the 20th century killed only 100 million people. Third is that a billion could perish in our century unless we reverse courses. Next, the cigarette is the deadliest object in the history of human civilization. In fact, cigarette use also result in financial losses from diminished labor productivity. 6. And in many parts of the world, smoking makes the poor even poorer. 7. Smoking is the financial burden on the public and private users, principally from the causes of treating illness due to smoking. You can see that in the 5 to 6. 8. Cigarette manufacturing consumes scarce resources in growing, curing, rolling, flavoring, packing, transporting, advertising, and legal defense. Number 9. Smoking manufacturing causes harm from massive pesticide use and deforestation. 10. Cigarette manufacturing also produces non-trivial greenhouse gas emission. 11. Cigarettes are significant causes of harm to the natural environment. And the last one is that 12. Therefore, smoking should be banned due to the 4, 7, and 11. Okay, so we are going to the argument 2. Smoking should be banned because it has several health effects. It harms almost every organ of the body. Cigarette smoking causes 70% of lung cancer deaths, and it is also responsible for many other cancer and health problems. Yep, we can see that in the picture. Due to these things. Next is about the argument 3. Cigarettes and tobacco products are very expensive. These products which badly waste their income. Therefore, smoking should be forbidden. How about this analyzing? First, cigarettes and tobacco products are very expensive. People who smoke are forced to spend their money on these products. The purchase of cigarettes and tobacco products was their income. Smoking bans reduce the cost of treating diseases related to smoking and the number of deaths caused by smoking-related illness. And the last one is that smoking should be forbidden. We are going to the next argument is that argument 4. Smoking still have some positive aspect to the economic side. Many countries around the world, especially tropical nations like Cuba as well as England, consider cigarettes as an important product to export to many countries to get money on exchange other commodities. Therefore, they can use that money to invest in some different kinds of fields. Furthermore, in my country, selling cigarettes is also an easy job that everyone can do to earn the money, no matter how old they are. As a result, this can bring some job for people and particularly solve the rate of unemployment. So, smoking shouldn't be banned. And the next is the argument 5. The smoke products every non-smoker, but a complete ban is not necessary. I mean, those public places can save up money so they can build special areas for non-smokers, and those areas would be banned. This way would work for poor part, the part of the population that smoke and love smoking while at a public place, and the part of the population that doesn't smoke and can stand the smoke. So, if somebody wants to smoke, let him do, as long as it doesn't socially harm anyone. And by using these special areas for smoker, everyone would be happy and some public place would make profit. Analyzing. Those public areas can save up money to build special area for non-smokers. This way would work for both the smoker and the non-smoker. 3. Smoking in the designated areas for smoker doesn't social harm anyone. 4. Everyone would be happy. And 5. The summer public place would make profit. And final thing that a complete smoking ban is not necessary. So we are going to the question 2 is that do people have the right to choose or is it a reflex at work? Okay, we are going to the first agreement one. Although people say that smoking is a smoker's choice, it is not. It is in some ways, but not either. It is their choice whether they want to pay to die, but our choice whether we want them to be able to smoke around us. It is not just harming them when they smoke, it is also harming us. By smoking in public places, all the people that go to those places have got to inhale the smoke although they have made a choice to not smoke. They don't have a right to say whether smoking will be a part of our life or not. But if it was banned, smokers could smoke in their home and cause harm themselves and not others. Analyzing. So first, it is the smoker's choice whether they want to pay to die. Next, the choice of non-smokers is not to want smokers to be able to smoke around them. 3. Smoking not only harms smokers when they smoke, but also harms non-smokers. 4. All non-smokers who go to places where smoking is allowed are exposed to their smoke. 5. Smokers don't have a right to say whether they will be a part of our life or not. And the last one, smoking is not a smoker's choice. Okay. Next is about the agreement 2. Smoking is a drug because tobacco contains nicotine, which is very addictive. The nicotine makes it difficult for a smoker to quit. A person will become used to the nicotine so that he or she has to smoke so as to feel normal. And next is the argument 3. The smoker doesn't have the right to inflict the danger onto us who have taken the free choice not to. But smoking is enough to give some lung cancer and heart disease. So why would we suffer because you want to practice a disgusting habit? Analyzing. Smokers don't have the right to inflict the danger to those who have free chosen not to smoke. Next, but smoking is enough to give some lung cancer and heart disease. 3. Non-smokers have no reason to suffer from this disgusting habit. And the final thing, people should not consider smoking a choice. Okay, so we are going to identifying weak agreement. So first agreement, smoking relies pressures. Firstly, smoking is indeed a stress reliever because tobacco contains a nicotine, a stronger addictive substance than heroin. According to the Western Sức khỏe trong tầm tay, smoking tobacco in the long term will cause addiction and dependence on the nicotine. At this time, smokers will feel hungry, so restless. Smoking is the current causing stress and increasing stress.
Continue with the weak argument. And another argument in our survey is that people can smoke as long as it does not affect people nearby. However, this is completely wrong. Firstly, smoking too much can lead to cardiovascular disease and increase the risk of cancer. Furthermore, we all know that smoking is not only dangerous for smokers, but also affect everyone in the area where smoke is released. That's the information from our nation interior ministry. For those who have to bear the smoke from the cigarettes, they are more harmful than the person who smoke directly. The most affected victims are children and pregnant women. According to Nhi electronic media, children who breathe smoke from cigarettes are prone to coughing, wheezing, or worse, are asthma attack. And for pregnant women, it increases the chance that their baby will have sudden infant death syndrome because of the chemical in the smoke. Now we're going to the third argument. There was another question in our group survey is that whether tobacco should be considered as a prohibited item. Most of the answer agree to ban smoking. However, there are some arguments that smoking should not be banned because it will make the economy go down. These reasons sound good at first, but however, again, it's not appropriate to compare Vietnam with Europe or America. They are the countries that have different economic and development from Vietnam. In the US from 2019 until now, if you want to buy a cigarette, you need to show an ID to make sure that you are higher than 21 years old. This is the law of the US Food and Drug Administration. But in our country, Vietnam, it's easy to see that an 8 years old boy or girl can purchase a bag of cigarettes according to the information from the website Thinh.vn. And tobacco costs a loss of about $500 billion each year to the world economy. In Vietnam, in 2010, the treatment costs for 3 diseases from smoking were higher than 2 billion VND. Moreover, cigarettes also reduce labor productivity and other social costs, account for 3.6% of GDP. And the social costs of tobacco in the US were estimated as loss as $184 billion per year. Therefore, tobacco ban will not affect the economy too much because cigarettes are more harmful to our national economy. I'm gonna consolidate the argument from the opposite side. With the first argument, smoking restriction may be viewed as an infringement on one's freedom of choice. Professor Panos, head of cardiology at Hurricane University Hospital in Greece and president of the European Association of Cardiologists. He said that some people will have a different way of life, focusing on discovering their limit. So most of people need some kind of stimulant in their life, like coffee, alcohol, and cigarettes. Besides poverty, unemployment, and pressure in work or life is the reason why people turn into stimulant like cigarettes to relieve stress. So even though World Health Organization, the WHO, have made great efforts to control tobacco use, the results seem to be far from the target. Therefore, it is not true to argue that a ban on smoke, it's not true to argue that a ban from smoking should be introduced to encourage people to give up. Some smokers also, every smoker also fund their own health care through their high tax they pay on tobacco, and smoking should be a personal right too. The next one will be the second argument. The tobacco industry is one of the most profitable industry in the world, employing around 100 million people. Making the growing of tobacco and the manufacturing of cigarettes illegal would affect the grower and producer. Smoking ban will affect the life of many people who are working in this industry. This would put many people out of work, result in loss of income and business revenue. Cigarettes contribute greatly to the economy. Thus, prohibiting them would have a significant negative impact. If the government bans the consumption of tobacco, this will lose a large amount of money from taxes. Scientists analyze the data from more than 3,000 health surveys in over 200 countries and regions around the world. And the result is that in 2019, the world has 1.1 billion smokers with 7 trillion cigarette consumers annually. And government make a lot of money this way. If smoking ban led to fewer cigarette sales, that could mean government have reduced revenue from tobacco taxes. It is a well-known fact that the more people are forbidden to do something, the more they want to do it. So, banning cigarettes completely would not stop people from smoking. For instance, if a country bans smoking, but the people demand for tobacco is still very large, and it is because this is an a well-known fact that the more people are forbidden to do something, the more they want to do it. So banning cigarettes completely would not stop people from smoking. For instance, if a country bans smoking but the people demand for tobacco is still very high, and it is an addictive product. It will lead to increase illegal production and smuggling for tobacco. Then it will be so hard to control black market. The current worldwide road prohibition is an example. A black market with illegal goods is mình nói lại nguyên đoạn nha bạn. Xin lỗi bạn mà cắt lại giùm mình nha. It is a well-known fact that the more people are forbidden to do something, the more they want to do it. So, banning cigarettes completely would not stop people from smoking. For instance, if a country bans smoking, but the demand for tobacco is still very high because it is an addictive product, this will lead to an increased illegal production and smuggling for tobacco. Then it will be so hard to control black market. The current worldwide drug prohibition is an example. A black market with illegal goods is considered as an organized crime, and it is very bad. Okay, the next one is our root conclusion. The propaganda and support for tobacco reduction is moving in the right direction. Because of the negative influence in human social life, it's necessary to give the damaging effect of smoke to warning people. Even though prohibiting smoking is extremely difficult to manage, but each individual have the option to choose to smoke or not, because a healthy person will contribute a lot to maintain a wealthy society. And this is the link referring for our group report. This is the end of our group presentation. Thank you, teacher, for listening to us. Goodbye, teacher. Thank you.